All right, day 3 math from our Bridges book. If you're like, Mrs. Rossetti's hair looks the same and she's wearing the same shirt, yes, I'm doing a bunch of these videos. I'll probably stop after day 3 and then probably do some Tuesday. I don't know, we'll see. So let's look at day 3. Where the directions they give you on page 7 is you're going to do some estimating or rounding. So it says, when estimating numbers, round each number to the nearest place value before adding or subtracting. So estimate the sums and the differences. Are they asking you for an exact answer? No, they're not asking you for an exact answer. They're asking you to add up or subtract the rounded numbers. So, and you'll see on the page, you might say, well, sorry, I didn't even do this. This squiggly line, they don't have a regular equal sign. That squiggly line means that the answer is approximately. It's not an exact answer. So if I said 32 plus 30 is approximately 60. It's not actually 60. It's 62, but it's approximately 60. So we are going to review some of our rounding. So here's our tens place and our ones place. We're going to round the tens place in this particular activity. You are going to round to the second number, which is our tens, or the first number, depending on how you look at it. And I want you to remember, first thing we do is say, what up, neighbor? The tens is going to look over the ones and say, what up? And the one's going to say, what up? And then they're going to take a look and say, well, am I rounding up or am I staying the same? So the first example they give you is 81 plus 75. Let's explain why they did what they did. They got 80 plus 80. How did they get 80 plus 80? Let's check it out. So you got 81. Now, that 8 is our tens. It's going to say, what up, neighbor? And it's going to look at the 1. Now, if that 1, that neighbor, is a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, that number is going to stay the same. So that 8 would stay the same. But if that 1 is a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, that number would round up. It would go up to a 9. So let's take a look. 81, that 8 is going to look at the 1 and say, what up, neighbor? The 1's place. And that 1's going to say, I'm just a 1. Sorry. That 8 is going to stay the same. So that would become 80. Now, the 75. That 7 is in the 10 spot. It's going to look over at the neighbor and say, what up, neighbor? Which is actually a 5 in that 1 spot. Is that 5 a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4? Is that 7 going to stay the same? No, it's not. Is it a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9? Yep, it's a 5. So that 7 is going to round up to an 8. Now, remember, this is what I say gets tricky because you guys do this all year long. You'll do it and they get confused. Does this 5 stay a 5? No, it turns into a 0. So that's how they got 80 plus 80 equals 160. They rounded them. That 81 stayed at an 80 and that 75 went up to a 80. So let's practice another one. Your next problem. 93 minus 12. We're going to look at our tens. That 10's going to say, what up, neighbor? And he's going to look at the 3. And the 3's going to say, hi, I'm 3. Yeah, he might. So that 3, is that 3 5 or more? No. So that 3 is going to turn into a 0. And that 9 is going to stay the same. It's not going to turn into a 10, making it 100, because that 3 is below 5. Or, yes, below 5. Now, what about this 12? This 1's is going, or the 10 spot, the 1 and the 10's, is going to look up at the 2 and say, what up, neighbor? And that 2 is going to say, hi, I'm 2. It might. You don't know that. So that 2 is not 5 or more. So it is going to stay the same. So that 2 turns into a 0 and that 1 stays the same. So what's 90 minus 10 about? Well, what is 90 minus 10? That equals 80. So that answer, 93 minus 12, is about, not exact, it is about 80. It is not exactly 80, but it is about 80. Now, let's quickly take a look here at, and you're gonna do numbers 2 through 8. Just round them that way, look back and say, what up, neighbor, okay? Now we're also going to take a look at, you have some clocks to work on. Now, the long clock hand is a review. That is our minute hand. It's gonna go. And the short pink hand is hour. Remember, when we look at that, these all go in 5-minute increments. So 5, 10, 15, 20. So you go around. Now, this tells you there are 24 hours in a day. We knew that. The times from midnight through 11:59 in the morning are written AM. Now, the times from noon to 11:59 at night are written PM. Write the correct times. Now, first thing they're asking you to do is write the time. Now, these aren't too tricky, so I'm not going to. We'll go over more of that after. But then they're asking you to do some elapsed time. What is elapsed time? Is how much time is in between the first part and the second part that they're asking you to do. So you're going to say, look at clock A, and you're going to say, what is 50 minutes past? Well, just start going. Okay, 50 minutes past. Well, that's 3:05, 3:10. So let's count them. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So what time is that? Well, let's see. It'd be 3:50. So you're going to do some of those. If you have any questions, let me know. But we've done some elapsed time. We've actually done some that I feel like are a little trickier than this. Just follow along. You can also do your number line, okay? So, for example, when number 23 asks you, what time is C, you can do a number line, and it says 95 minutes. You can say what time that is. I can't show you exactly. And then count them out. Okay, this is, what time would it be? 30 minutes after. What time would it be? 60 minutes after. That's another 30 minutes. What time would it be? Another 30 minutes, because that's 90. And then you're going 5 minutes. Start with that starting time and keep doing it. So you're gonna put the time up here. Okay, 30 minutes later, it's gonna be this time. 30 minutes after, it's gonna be this time. 30 minutes after, it's gonna be this time. 5 minutes after that is going to be this time. In this case, 30-minute increments is probably our easiest, but you can do our number lines, and I'll probably post something to help for the elapsed time number line. I'll probably post it in Google Classroom as well, so you guys can see it, and maybe I'll try and email it too to help you there. So this is math day 2. If you have any questions or problems,